Hi, I'm Cheshtaa, a marine molecular ecologist at UNIS, the University Center in Svalbard. I am studying about climate change and I'm studying about these organisms which you cannot see with your eyes, and I'm going to see in the past 10 years how their diversity has changed in the water. But why am I studying that? It's only because from the past few years there has been a great Atlantification event, which is basically Atlantic water coming into the Arctic, which is obviously bad because Arctic is cold and Atlantic is warmer. So we don't want that to happen, but it's happening. So I want to study about how it's going to affect my organisms, which are protists, and see how this hot water is going to change their life, or if they're going to increase or decrease, if they're going to change their functions, what's going to happen to them. So in a way, I'm checking, like, okay, so if the hot water flows in, will the ice melt, or all of those things happen? Like, that's a consequence of climate change. So that's what I'll be looking into. So the food here is obviously complicated because nothing can grow here. There are no trees, nothing, absolutely. So we have to depend on food coming from the mainland, which is not bad, but also bad for the environment. So that's why I think it's good, because it's good that it's expensive, because people who just want to live here and not do any work, it's hard for them, so that they can't afford it because they don't want to pay, like they can't pay for it, it's too expensive. So that's why I feel like the people who work here only should live here, because already it's like a no man's land which we're occupying. This is for polar bears and for other animals, and we're living here. So we have to be grateful to them, to be honest. But since we are here, we're working, we're doing science, or we're doing research and so many other things, I think only people who do that should be allowed to live here, not like others who just, I mean, obviously they can visit because tourism is the biggest industry, but otherwise it's very unsustainable. That's what I feel. About the climate crisis that has been going on in talks all around the world. So people are aware that, it's a big deal and whatever is happening. I think one of the biggest things that can be observed here in Svalbard are the buildings, because the buildings are built on permafrost, right? So if that starts melting, the buildings are like unstable. And we did lose a few buildings, by the way, apparently last year before I came. And that was because the permafrost is now it's like melting. So the buildings are not stable. So they have to start like a new plan, and they have to come up with a new strategy completely altogether. So I think that is the biggest effect of climate change for those who don't believe that it's actually happening. Other than that, the winters, which were like warmer until now, are all of a sudden are really cold. This winter it was really cold apparently, and we checked the ocean temperatures, which was also really very cold. So, and the summers were also kind of cold. So it's kind of different, like when you see other countries and you see like it's becoming warmer there, but then here it's becoming colder. But that doesn't mean that it's a balance, oh, warm here, cold here. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be at how the circulation takes place. It's supposed to be like that. But obviously that doesn't mean that, if it's colder here, that means no ice is going to melt. Like I said before, Atlantification, which is the biggest thing that's going on right now, which is almost everybody what they're researching on.